Hello, YouTube. It is Zector back with another replay analysis video. In today's video, I have crafted an ultimate replay analysis guide. I am going to teach you guys exactly how to look at your replays, what you should be looking for, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel, I'm Zector, a professional Rocket League, Overwatch, Valorant, and AIM coach with more than a decade of experience coaching. I've worked with players of all skill levels from the bottom of the game to the very top. I have coached at a professional level for both high-level organizations and have provided my private coaching services to thousands of clients over thousands of sessions. I know what I am doing, and I can say with confidence that if you have the dedication to improve, my coaching will allow you to accomplish anything. If you're getting tired of being hard stuck, join my Discord linked in the description and send me a DM to receive professional Rocket League coaching. But yeah, let's get right into the video. All right, getting into this replay. I picked a random Champ 2 replay off of ball chasing. I'm going to show you guys every single thing that we should be looking out for in a replay, how I've studied my replays over the years, how you guys can identify mistakes in your own gameplay, etc. I'm just going to pick a random player's POV, and we're kind of just going to go from there. I'll show you guys exactly what needs to happen in your gameplay. So immediately, I'm pausing. Okay, and the reason that I'm pausing is we need to understand what a player is thinking. If it's you, we need to understand why you make the decisions you do, and we need to understand what other players are going to do based off of the information that we have. Now, in a replay, we have boost information like on screen for us for the other team, but in game, that's also something that you're going to have to be tracking. So one thing that you could look out for example, in your replays is, did I correctly track this player's boost? And if I didn't, how could I have done that? Is it possible? Is it impossible? If you feel like it's impossible, why? If you feel like it's possible, why? We need to ask ourselves more questions. You need to be very proactive in your thought process. I've coached thousands of people in my career, and I have asked a lot of people, why did you make this decision? Why did you do this? What were you thinking? What was the reason? Where was the rationale behind this, right? And a lot of people say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. I just did it, right? We need to get to the root of our thought process. What are we recognizing that is bringing us to that decision that we made? That is the only way you're going to be able to fix errors in your gameplay. You cannot just keep autopiloting games. You can. You're not going to get better as quick as other people, like as quick as your peers. It's just not going to happen. Anyone doing this process is going to get significantly better, significantly quicker, right? So I'm pausing. Now, what do I do? From like my perspective, I love to pause and predict, right? So what I'm going to do is, based off of the information that I have, I'm going to predict each player's like options or what they're going to do next. Okay, let's go over here. In this position, we see Candy here, right? Cool, Candy, whatever. I believe that Candy is going to come up and zone this. That is a very high possibility. The ball is definitely going to pop out in this direction. I see Candy either going immediately, which is what some players would do, or he kind of sits around here. It's going to end up in this area. I know that for a fact because he has boost. So because I know Candy in this position has boost, these are the options that Candy has. So Candy can go forward for it, jump immediately, go up wall, play it off wall. Candy can go up for the ball, and if the ball is lower, he could dodge to the right, put the ball up the wall, and then take it down, go for an aerial play, whatever. He can immediately jump for the ball and hit it somewhere in this general area, try to shoot it on net or get it into the corner. Candy could go up and then turn around and then try to immediately go for a dribble play here, right? So these are all the options that I'm identifying. There's more, but I'm just trying to make a point. That's likely. I think, this is Champ. So I don't know. I don't know what type of player he is yet. I'm just going to assume that one, but jumping could be very likely as well. In this position, usually what's going to happen, Send is going to grab this full boost. If Send doesn't grab this full boost and likes the pop, Send will go this way. A lot of players usually go for the boost, but I think in this situation, I think Send kind of probably just zones like this area or something like that. The reason I feel that way, players in lower ranks, they feel more entitled to try to like get in there. Like they want to get on the ball as soon as possible, even in bad situations. So I'm adjusting for variance here, right? Like there's a chance that it varies a little bit. So I'm adjusting for that. This guy's 100% going for the mid boost. Why do I know that? He has low boost. And in this situation, his teammate is relatively safe. If his teammate wasn't safe, most players are going to take a path like this. That way they can deviate from the boost pad, or they can immediately go back for the full if there's space that allows them to do so. So he's going for the mid boost here, 100%. This guy does so if this guy ends up doing this, then this guy ends up going back here, right? And what I'll do is I'll play it. And now I look at him. This guy went for the boost. This guy went for the boost. Sinful went up. Candy did the turn. So I predicted most of that right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue going with my replay. Now, what I usually do is I do this all the time. So like when I stop, I'm going to immediately now analyze what's going to happen. So because Send has low boost here, right? Because we've already confirmed what's going on with these guys. Now we can talk about the new situational variables that are going on, which is this kind of 1v1 interaction here. So in this situation, because Send is here and Send has low boost and Candy has high boost, there's a couple things that can happen. Candy will either just let Send go into the ball here, hit the ball, and he'll just zone the ball and take it forward. He plays a 50 here, which he has a high chance of winning. And if it goes left, he'll just continue playing it. If it goes right, maybe go up the wall, maybe cut down, depends on player tendencies. Because he has a lot of boost, he's going to be able to sustain. He's going to be able to get to the ball again. Or, and this is the worst case scenario, Candy doesn't go at all. And Sinful like shoots it over in this area. Maybe he doesn't get it in the net. That is a possibility, but it shouldn't be probable, but it can happen. So let's see what happens. Oh, okay. This is definitely in the net. Yeah, so that shouldn't have happened. So let's look at this, right? What went wrong here? Okay, so now we can go in and we can actually like look at this situation, like what happened. So first, Candy is way too scared of the ball. Candy is terrified of the ball. I've actually like treating it like it is shit and like flies, right? So it's like we can't do that. We ideally should have went. Now, why could we have went is what you would ask yourself, right? If you come to a conclusion, I should have gone. Okay, well, why? What can you identify that tells you should have? In this situation, it's space, boost amount. Because we have a lot of space and because we have a high amount of boost, we're able to get in and make a play on the ball, right? That is a really, and then it's like, oh, okay, we have some rationale behind why we did what we did or what we're trying to achieve. So that's what could have happened. And then we can talk about here, because there's multiple error points typically before like a really bad thing happens, so like getting scored on, for example. And in this situation, he also slowed, Candy also slowed there. So we have to ask ourselves, like, how can we even see that slow? Okay, what we have to do is once again ask ourselves, like the question is, why didn't we get back to the ball? So what we have to look at first is positioning, right? Our positioning, we were already so far up the wall because we didn't go for that, right? And then on top of that, we didn't immediately just commit that boost, immediately drop down. We didn't disengage in time, which is what led to this situation, right? But the situation started with, they just didn't go. So I'm not going to do the pause and analyze thing the entire time, because it's like, in my peak of studying replays, I was studying replays for like 4 to 6 hours a day. Like I was studying replays like free play, which is why I know so much about the game now. But I'm not going to do that for the sake of trying to keep the video somewhat short. And we'll just look at, okay, so like, let's ask ourselves here, right? Everything, question everything. Even if you think you're right. I've done that so many times. Even if I thought I was right about something, I question it as if it was wrong. I question everything. Even nowadays, I still question myself. I argue against myself more than anyone else in the game. So that is so big, right? You always want to question the things that you think that you know, because there's a chance that you find some offset variable that wasn't present the first time. Like sometimes our biases and the way that we view things, our perspectives, it can kind of cover up other things. So we kind of have to blow the leaves off the gold so we can actually see it. And in this situation, we ask ourselves, why did we go down? That's what I would ask a player right here. Why did we go down? And I'm not implying that they're wrong when I ask that question. I am just simply trying to understand what made you do this. What did we identify here, right? So I don't see anything that they identified rather than I feel like this is just the tendency to be passive, which is something that we noticed over here. I can already see a problem with this player's gameplay in that regard. Maybe it's typically due to environment. When you're in champ, sometimes you do compensatory behaviors and you start doing these habits that are built around failure, right? So what in this position, what I see, Candy has a lot of boost. Candy had priority to the wall. Wetnap hasn't even confirmed that boost yet, and we have a good amount of space. Therefore, we could have went for the ball. But I think there could be a mechanical thing as well involved in this, and the only way I'm going to be able to see that is if Candy actually executes something like mechanically, which really hasn't happened so far. And I'm assuming this is an avoidance thing. We're avoiding being mechanical because we're bad. Here's the thing: if you really want to get good at anything in life, you should seek failure. People far too often seek success. I cannot tell you guys how many times I have just sought failure. I wanted to fail. I wanted to fuck up. I want to lose. I want to be wrong. Now, why is it? Because those are the places in where I'm going to gather the most. And I have a deep, innate passion for knowledge and information. I love knowledge, but the only way you get the full spectrum of it is by going to each side of the spectrum, right? So in this situation, just be wrong. Fail. Just fail. Just go up and fail. Don't be afraid of failing. You're going to stay stagnant. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay in that same place. You're going to have these avoidance things until one day you just wake up and you're like, you know, why the fuck was I even doing that? So point being, oh yeah, what did I say? I already knew it. This is very shaky mechanics, okay? In this situation, I'm going to tell you all now, stop air rolling unnecessarily. When I look at everything, it has to have a rational reason for doing so. The air roll can and is good in a lot of situations, but people barely use it correctly, okay? So what am I talking about? Zector, what the fuck are you talking about? I hear you talking about air roll all the time, okay? Let's look at this. In this situation, if you air roll at all here, if I were to ask you, why did you air roll? You need to be able to give me a specific reason in which why you air rolling was more efficient. If you can't, it was unnecessary. There's no argument here, right? So in this situation, this is perfectly, like originally, it was perfectly fine. I can be cool. Like this is an adjustment backwards. We're barely using air roll. But what is this for? Why are we turning backwards? Why are we boosting backwards? Why are we putting our momentum backwards? You know what I mean? This cannot happen. Just jump for the ball, okay? This is not 2017 anymore. This, and I'm gonna make a video on how rotations don't even exist in the game. I'm gonna make a lot of videos, guys. So I got some shit cooking, okay? I got some stuff on the back burner. Anyway, yeah, no, that's not justified to air roll. And someone's probably like some lower ranks would be like, Zector, because he air rolled, he hit it over to the. Shut up, okay? But I will explain it because, you know, absolutely. So in this situation, he still could have achieved that just by going up, and then if he wanted to last second, he could have air rolled. And if he would have been like, you know, I was using the air roll at the last second in order to influence my touch over to but there's process. There's a thought process there. I know a majority of you watching this video, you do not have that thought process. You're just fucking air rolling and you look stupid. Lock yourself in. What is going on here? Oh Lord, what's going on here? So firstly, what I would ask myself in this situation is, you know, what do I need here? What am I trying to achieve here, right? And if I was gonna say, well, I just wanted to stick around until my teammate hit it, then I have to ask myself, what can I do with the ball after that happens, right? Are the players on the other team going to be able to get back in time? Am I going to be advantageous from doing this, and why? Am I going to be disadvantageous in doing this, and why, right? So in this situation, I'm thinking, you know, I should probably just go back. The chances of something coming out here is low, and if this was a higher rank, players aren't going to be positioned in like this, right? We can look at other players, right, in relevance to our positioning. So we have to ask ourselves, right, in a higher rank, are both players typically going to immediately be right here? Typically. No, I'm saying this is bad. I'm not saying this is bad. Because technically Send has the space to be able to do this, but he's not playing pacing, so he's probably not going to get anything, which is why he doesn't. We gave luck advantage by going quicker, but besides my point. Anyway, let's look at what happens with Candy. Now we're just shadowing our teammate. You're literally playing this like a 1v1, but the person that you're in the 1v1 with is your teammate. You're not going to cherry pick this. You're not cherry picking this, right? And now you spent all that time completely inactive. You know what? Better players. So let's ask ourselves, what could I have done instead? Right? In this situation, I can just let my teammate play this because I don't need to be here. And even if I am here, what am I going to do from here? Right? So I'm just going to immediately go back here. Or, you know, I have a decent amount of boost. Could I maybe look for a demo on this guy while my teammate plays it out? Now, why could I do that? Why could I have the possibility you're going for a demo? Well, it's because Luck here has a lot of space open. He doesn't have anyone immediately like in front of him, and therefore I don't have to cover any defensive options. I'm pretty free to just go for whatever I want here, and you use that time and you do something efficient. I would have killed Wet Nap. I would have demoed that guy so quickly. If not that, I would have punted him all the way near his teammate. Okay, you cannot let players just chill. Okay, don't do that. Cool. Also, I want to mention this. This is super important. You also need to say what you do well as well. Like, that's also equally important. You need to have a balance with things typically, right? Now, sometimes you're going to see a lot of negativity. Us as human beings, we just have innate negativity bias. It's just, we see negativity. It's significantly easier to focus on the negativity, but we want to be positive for things that are good. So I could look at this and I could be like, hey, that was pretty good. You know, I was covering a lot of options initially. I have a lot of boost. I'm playing supportive options for my teammate. That's all good. I like, you know, cool. That was good. Could I have done anything different though? Right? Even when you're giving yourself like the, yes, I did this well, but could I do better? Right? So then we look at, did I have to disengage immediately? Right? Maybe I'm playing phantom options, which is what he's doing. Right? And this is a big thing to look out for as well. Here's another thing, phantom options. Are you covering stuff appropriately? In this situation, right? Let's look at this. Is Candy appropriately covering something? No. Candy in this situation is covering a defensive option that is literally impossible. This is literally like the ball's not even over here, and yet we're facing back for a defensive option. This is disproportionate to what is actually going on. Now, we have to ask ourselves, how can we play this different? How can we do this differently? In this situation, right, it's good to play like this, but we can play this anchor right here. We can play this lane right here. Now, what allows us to play this right here? Well, there's no one immediately about the challenge, so I have space to kind of sit here, and if someone does try to come to challenge, I can just immediately then start facing this way, because then it's a threatening option and I want to play those. Sinful's all the way in net, so once again I have a lot of space, and my teammate's kind of awkward. Maybe he can get me out something though. So what I would have done is played up along this path and immediately went and shot the fucking ball. This would be a goal right now. Where are we instead? Nowhere close. Right? So that is why it is so important. Ask yourself, why did I do this? Why did I go back? Could I have gone forward? Why could I have gone forward? If you do these like questions, you ask yourself these questions, you are going to be so much better off. Right now, once again, a tendency to just be passive right here. No inclination of going up. This has to be in the mechanics. The question is, can we go up here? Yes, we can. Why can we? We have boost. What do we need to be worried of? Sinful, right? Were we tracking his boost? Do we know how much boost he has right now, right? If we were back in this play, we would know he has full. Right now, we should know that Sinful has full boost, right? Really, really important. So in this situation, when we get here, because we kept that boost information in mind, we can take that into account and make a better informed decision. Super important to know those things. If you don't know those things, you should be looking around more often. I know a lot of people play this game and listen to music, but I'm pretty sure you can hear people from across the entire map, like when they're jumping, etc. You can hear all of that stuff. So you can hear, of course, the engagement and disengagement of not the disengagement, but the engagement of boost. You can hear the absence of boost, which what I consider the disengagement, but you get my point. Anyway, in this situation, we could have went. We could have played this. We could have went for it. We could have went for it right now. We could have beat Sinful to this, and now it's at a point where we've given it to Sinful, and now we're just going to play passively here. Not bad. Could you have done anything different? Yes. What could I have done different? Go through the process. Right here, I like this. Unnecessary arrow. There's no point in doing all this arrow. In this situation, you cannot give me a justified reason for this, because you could have done all of that using significantly less air roll, right? So once again, we need to go into air roll. Let's look at it. How do we identify mechanics? Yeah, I'm going to put out a mechanics series soon. Subscribe. If you're here, subscribe. Thank you. Going into this, what's the issue here? Why am I too far forward? Well, the answer is almost always boost, right? So what would you do? You would take a note of that, like, oh, okay, when I'm going into free play and custom training, let me focus a little bit more on momentum. I've been having, I've noticed a momentum mistake in my gameplay, so I kind of want to reevaluate how I look at momentum, or if there's anything missing, and let me try to use the appropriate amount of boost. Let me just really get the reps in for that, etc. That would be really good, because if you would have boosted even a little bit less, would have been fine. I like that decision. Trying to go for that boost. That's definitely good. Nice. I like this challenge, but why? If we're in this position, if you like this challenge, why? Why do you like that challenge? You have to then understand why you like it. Okay. If you don't do that, you're cooked. Okay. I promise you, people are going to get, the people that are listening to what I'm saying right now and implementing it actively every single day, they're going to get better. Way better than you, 100%. Every single time. I know it for a fact. But this was good. This was good. The reason that I like it, right? Damn. We were zoning him really appropriately. We have a ton of boost, so we can be sustainable in this space. He was clearly messing up. We should have known his boost amount in the situation. We should know where his teammate is, which is on our left. Right, completely on our left. Should know that. Notice I didn't even look over there, right? While you're looking at your replays, that's another thing. You should be tracking players. This is the perfect place to do it if you can't do it in the game yet. Just go into replay. That's a big way that I got it. Now, I also, of course, went into game, and I don't even really think about it anymore. I just know where people are, which is incredibly helpful information. But Go into your replays, be tracking people right here. Listen for his boost amount. I'm hearing his boost. I'm hearing him dodging. I'm hearing him go for the ball. So then we know when we can dodge, when we can go, how much time do we have before we shoot, etc. Really, really important stuff. Let's continue. Wow, I feel like this video's been long. And we're at 4 minutes 15 now. But in this situation, could we be quicker? Could we be quicker, and why? Yes, we could be quicker. How could we be quicker? Just dodge for the boost. Just dodge for the boost. There's no point in being late. I call this laziness. We could have already grabbed the boost and already been moving out. So we're saving an extra second or two on our pathing, which is a lot. That is not a minimal amount. That is important, right? Right here, we have to ask ourselves, if our teammate actually gets this to us, are we going to be able to do anything? That's what you should be immediately asking yourself. We ended up jumping. So now, because you jumped, what happened? Once again, ask yourself, because I jumped, what can I do now? And what can't I do now? What did I lose by jumping? And if we were to go back and look at it, we would know that because we jumped here, we weren't able to just zone the ball. Versus if we were to come out, ask yourself, what if I just went out quicker here, right? Learning is all about questions. If you just ask yourself enough questions, you'll get good. I don't know if I've stated this. I have been high level in many different games. Overwatch, Valorant, this game, of course. A lot of the games that I play, I get good at. Is that a testament to my intelligence? No, not necessarily, right? I just have learned how to learn. Learning itself is a skill, right? And anyone can do it. You don't have to be incredibly intelligent, right? You can do it. If you're listening to me right now, you can get good just like anyone else, but you have to understand the process to go through in order to do so. And some players and some people, they have that process, they have that mindset, they have that discipline, they have all of these skills that allows them to do these things efficiently. So you have to identify by asking questions, what do you lack? What are you strong in? What do you need to be stronger in, right? So yeah, we should have just got out. And then if you would have got out, you could have just zoned this area immediately right now. You could be going for the ball immediately, but now you can't, right? So that is not good. Right here, we're playing an outlet, which is can we play the outlet? It's a little late for the outlet. If we already know our teammate is up there, you know, it's best to just let our teammate play this first, and then we just follow after, see if he gets a second touch, etc. But why is that best, right? So in this situation, because our teammate is up here, our teammate has full boost, he's able to get a touch on the ball, just let him get a touch on the ball. It would be a different story if we were closer, because then we can immediately transition into that and be waiting over here for the pass, in which we can take forward, we could shoot forward, we could, you know, there's all sorts of shit that you can do from that position. And then sitting down here, it's like we can just allow our teammate to do that and then play over here as soon as he does, and then we could be facing forward, right? But instead you're butt naked, you got no clothes on, right? We took them things off, you know what I mean? We are so awkward here, and we are just not in a good position, and you did that yourself, right? So that's how we can understand that. God demo, that's just unfortunate how much you could have done there. The error point previous was why you got stuck in that. Wow, okay. You checking out the videos? I like that slow. I usually don't see players playing as dynamic in such a low rank, so I definitely like this. Maybe it's just hesitation though. Maybe it's just a false correlation here that I'm making. Anyway, yeah, I liked it all. You know, hey. I mean, it was not bad actually, and played that pretty well. Some players, what they do in that situation is they just jump and they like immediately rush it, etc. It's just not good. Nice. There's a lot of options that we can do here. What are some options we can do? We could immediately jump up above the ball. Right, so jump up above the ball, cut the ball down, go for immediate options here. You can secure the boost too. This guy's trying to get out of there, so you're gonna get a little bit of space here. But we also have to keep in mind about wet snap, but he's gonna be out of the play for a bit. But sometimes players like to path this way, so it's good to keep in mind regardless. We're able to go up in the air instead, go off the wall. Jump off the wall like here and then go for an aerial play over there. Passing it would be an option unless you take it all the way to the ceiling, and then you have a reset, which means you can create options in the air, like after being in the air for a minute, and you're able to do that. But I wouldn't worry about passing too much. I would mainly focus on just getting good opportunities on net. I'm not saying that you can't pass and that passing is never good, because that's just stupid and not true. But there should be a balance of things, and it should be a rational time to pass. Like there should be something that's telling you can pass. So if you get that pass off, are you going to be in a long recovery time? If you go for a pass up here, you're going to be falling for a second, and you're very reliant on this working out. It can work though, and it can be good. But I really wouldn't try shit out with your champ teammates, if I'm being completely honest. Like, you can, for the sake of fail. Like I said earlier, if you want to, and you just want to slam your head up against the patterns, fuck it, go for it. You know, because you'll learn real quick when and when you can't go for stuff like that. Oh, I mean, this is an unintended. What? Excuse me? I know what you're practicing, and it ain't what you need to be. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not like, this isn't like a wow, oh my god, that's such a hard mechanic, but it's just like based off of what we were seeing previously, I just did not expect bro to pull that out. But I can tell this guy probably focuses on just doing fun stuff, which, you know, I respect that, man. Candy, if you're seeing this video, go ahead and leave me a comment. I know some people from like the random replays I've done have actually found the videos. That's really cool. Yo, can you guys let me know what type of other videos you'd like? I know I'm kind of yapping. I'm gonna get back to it. Don't worry. But I'm just curious. I need to start scripting my videos. So I talk too damn much. I'm aware. Trust me. I'm aware of my own errors. That was really awkward, but we need to ask ourselves, do we go for this or do we let our teammate zone it? In this situation, I just waited. Now, why would I have waited? Because my teammate can play that with 0 boost. I can keep my full boost. I don't have to commit my turn. I can play anything I fucking want from like right here. Like if the play goes well, I can go forward. If the play doesn't go well, I can take the ball, play pacing back here and go off wall if I wanted to, or just like play it down and then go into dribble. Like there's so many different things that I can do from there. Oh, but your teammate just kind of left. Maybe it was because of you. I'm not sure. You guys in comms? Oh, that might have been a comm. You might have been calming too. Okay, I see. All right, that would make more sense, because that was kind of a weird like little, like usually people disengaging like that isn't so smooth, and it's you like if it's not smooth, it tells me there was some sort of communication typically. That's not always true, but Like, those things aren't mutually exclusive by any means, but it's definitely an indicator for sure. I don't like this, but why don't I like this? Right? So in this situation, we need to ask ourselves, am I facing an appropriate way? Do I think the ball is going to go out this direction? Well, if we just look at him, it doesn't seem very likely based on where he's going. Like, based on looking at him, which is something you should be doing. Some players are too focused on the ball. Focus on their car. What can he do? Like, I'm looking at his car right now. I don't give a fuck about the ball. The ball, listen, the only thing that can influence the ball besides things like momentum, gravity, like just the physics of the game, is another player. So that ball is going to follow that path until its completion, based off of the like laws of physics in this game. So we really need to be paying attention to player input. That is really an important thing. Player angle. What can they do? I've said this many times. I'm going to mention this in my rotations video because it's how you should think of the game. But everything in this game is options. Everything in this game is options. You should always be looking for options at all times. That is super important. So what options did we have in this situation? We really only had, like, the more that we went left here, the more that we really were hard, like, overvaluing all of these options. Now, what would have happened if we went this way instead? Right? And you may be like, that's such a small difference. Yes, and it makes a big difference. In this situation, we could immediately go up. We could immediately still go out here. We could even cut all the way over here, but also we have closer access to wall, so we could have went up the wall. And not only could we have went up wall, we could have jumped off wall to the ball, or went off wall onto ceiling to be able to challenge after. Like, look at all of that. Look at this. This is what we're covering. Look at this though. You immediately got to be like, oh wow, there's a lot of different things that we can cover, right? Now, ultimately, no matter any of this, you're still probably going to end up going back, but at the very least, you have this frontal option, which you didn't, which is what made you so awkward, which is why you also backed off. I like that we were trying to focus on that lane. It just didn't work out too well. Okay. Once again, we have to ask ourselves, like, what went wrong here? But the only way you're going to be able to know that is if you actually ask yourself, like, what happened? So in this situation, we decided not to pick up the boost. Why? Why didn't we pick up the boost? Did we need to pick up the boost? Did we have the time to pick up the boost? Could we have picked up the boost? If we picked up the boost, what would happen? Would it influence my teammate if he saw me with more boost? Would it influence the other team if they saw me pick up the boost? Like, you can think about so much shit. Now, I'm going to put out a disclaimer because I know someone's going to be like, Zector, you're so fucking stupid. I can't think about all this in game. Listen, I'm not telling you guys that you need to think about every single one of these things, but it's like at first you're going to have to, and then eventually it's going to turn into functional habit, just like all of the other things that you do in your game. You don't think about every single thing that you do in your game now, but you did have to previously, and or you recognize those patterns which led you to playing how you play. But it's like over time, you know, because the beginning is the worst. Yeah, you're gonna suck. You're not gonna be able to do this shit immediately. Full disclaimer, right? But over time, you're going to start building these habits into your gameplay, and it's going to be significantly easier. You're not going to have to think about it as much. It's going to be like, oh, I know that guy's there. No, he just picked up the full boost. Moving on, right? It's smooth and seamless, but it's not going to be that way at first. So just keep that in mind and don't get discouraged. Okay, just keep going, right? Just keep going. It can be frustrating, admittedly. Right here, we had an option to go for the ball. We didn't. We backed up. We missed the boost. We already know all those things. What could we have done there? This is, I mean, I don't even think he wants the boost immediately until now, I guess. I don't know. No idea. There should be a goal. Nice. Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, absolutely. People love that little bronze tournament winner. That shit green. I don't like that. I don't really like that. I saw Luck going so far up the wall there. Bro was stuck in the motion, not gonna lie. All right, so we have no boost. So before we go into this, we need to ask ourselves, what can happen here? So there's the option that Luck goes over here, doomsy dishes the internet, completely dunks the shit out of this guy. There's the option that he pops out into us. Are we gonna be able to cover that? And if we miss it, are we gonna be able to get back, right? Those are some things that you kind of have to quickly determine, like, do I want to take on this risk? If the answer is yes, then take it. In this situation, we could just let Luck play it, play a little bit slow. This is kind of like really all in, and you can see we didn't even hard commit to it to begin with. If you're gonna put yourself that close, just stick with it. And if you don't want to put yourself that close, then you need to understand why you did to begin with. That way we can prevent it in the future. Okay, really, really important. Oh, okay, man. Ha. Cool. Love that. Wow, this game's pretty one-sided so far. Oh, let me get rid of all the drawing. Cool. Okay, we play oh, okay, we're just trolling a little bit. That's just a little bit of troll. I don't think he was being serious with that decision. I think they're up right now, so they're just kind of trolling. I wouldn't do that. And if that wasn't trolling, we need to ask ourselves, why did we do such a premature, like that was a premature pre-jump. That's saying something, right? I'm not even calling it just a pre-jump. Like that was a premature pre-jump. Right here, are we going to be able to cover options? No. Why can't we cover options? We're moving too fast. In a situation, the more you move over this way, notice this, you're going to be under the ball. Now what can you do? But imagine if you were zoning it from this direction instead. Surprisingly, you can actually immediately go for the ball. So we need to see, when are we taking away our options, right? Like in this situation, if we identify, I couldn't go for the ball here, why couldn't I? Right? And it's because we went too fast. We went too close. We didn't zone a little bit in this situation. You don't have to turn around, but you need to change the speed of approach. That way you can still keep those options open. We hesitated. It seems like we were trying to fake, but we're missing a lot of offensive options. Yeah, luck was okay. I wouldn't recommend dodging in front of your teammate. Okay, luck, get in there. Okay. We are playing so far away from any options on the field. So here's the thing. We're sitting back here. What can wet nap? How can the ball even possibly? Like, it's literally impossible for the ball to go over there right now. Like, it is, like, it's just not happening. And especially when we see this, like, when you see players facing the other direction, you should be pushing up from back here. He can't do anything. Look how far away we are. They're not going to do anything to you. They're facing this way. All of their options are this way. They don't have any options over here. So we should already be up here. Look how far away we are. Right? And we were even farther at the time. That is a large amount of distance. So now you're probably going to turn around again. Oh my goodness. How did I predict that? You know, it's because you literally prevented yourself from having those options. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Oh my gosh. What are these camera settings? I am not a fan. Okay. Wow. Okay. I did not think. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 I'm looking. So in this, yeah, we want to try to get the ball on top of our car as often as possible. It's not always going to happen. You know, we're going to have mechanical mistakes. I get it. You know, I get it. But definitely something that we could highlight and note for sure. Oh, I think we need some more highlights and notes on that one. That would probably be good. Let's see. Let's continue. Yeah. So once again, this guy's really passive. I don't know if someone told this guy to like always play on the ground or always play flicks or something, but yeah, I actually like this off-ball value. It's not bad, but we really need to make sure we know what's going on because your teammate could be getting bullied right now. Yeah, it's like I said, your teammate is getting bullied, and then that could be a goal. So that's why, all right, so it's like we have to identify those things. You know, I like the idea, but we need to have like some logic behind it. We can't just assume that our teammate's completely fine, even though that there was a player right there. You have to confirm that that player is a sufficient distance away to allow you to be able to do that. And oh, we went too fast. We're gonna be awkward. We almost if this was a higher rank, you were getting scored about. We went so fast, and it's like, now what? now you just gotta play the shot. But you put yourself in that position. Most players in the lower ranks, it's not even the other team beating you. It's literally just beating yourself. Don't ever beat yourself. Okay, we're doing a little too much. In this situation, put the ball, go towards net. We don't need this extra cut. Go towards net and put a shot on the net. Why? Why do we do that? Why do we go to the net immediately? First of all, you have this guy immediately behind you. So if you don't get a move on, you just keep doing cuts and turns. You're slowing your speed down, but that guy's going to keep a consistent speed. He's going to get you. You're going to get demoed, and then your whole play is fucked. In this situation, there's a... There's a lot of space, and you have a teammate. Just flick the ball. Either you flick the ball and you get a goal. You flick the ball and Wetnat has to jump for it, and he gets a fuck touch, and then your teammate scores it. You flick the ball, and then Wetnat goes up, gets a good touch, zones it, like plays pacing, like, god dang, I can't speak. Plays pacing here, and then your teammate can go and zone it, and then you can zone the area as well. There's a lot of different things. Man, I cannot speak. My gosh, I actually like some of the momentum here, the general momentum, but the air roll, it's got to go, brother. I already explained why it's got to go. So, but once again, ask yourself questions. Question everything. Ooh, that was dirty. That was a dirty flick. Oh, it wasn't a flick, but fake. What was bro cooking actually? Oh, he's aura farming. I know, bro. Just clipped that. Bro just hit that metal button so quick. Is this? Yep. Bro pressed that metal button immediately. I know. What? Or okay, they're just kind of trolling. Yeah, this is just troll. Wow, you can actually. That was actually a good arrow. Why aren't we doing that more consistent? I think some of this game is definitely troll. It's either that or like, and if it is troll, I wouldn't troll in your ranked games. Just go play casual. Just go play casual, guys. I mean, like I said, do whatever the fuck you want with your time. But if we're speaking just pure efficiency, if you're gonna troll, it's better to separate the two. Some people are like, oh, Zector, you're being so fucking harsh. Let them play whatever the fuck they want. Well, yeah, duh. They're gonna do it regardless if I say so or not. But it's like, you don't want to introduce any trolling stuff with ranked, because you're kind of integrating it with your mindset, and you're telling your brain it is okay to troll in ranked. And you may come up with well, I'm just with my friend, you know, it's like, but it's like, if you really want to take it serious and you really want to improve, I would separate the two. If you don't care, you're just playing the game casually, fuck it. All right. Everyone has different priorities, different goals, different things they want out of the game. I encourage you to explore many of them. Seems like the game's over. Yeah, so if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Please subscribe and please like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.